Good morning, everyone. It's been a hell of a week. Severe vertigo, fighting through these weapons attack, V2K 24/7. I just started answering my messages yesterday. Just please understand, I got a good, it's not a good video because it's not good at all to be having to speak about this, but a Kentucky man, killed his neighbor, called the police and said direct energy weapons were torturing him. And, his neighbors were torturing him with him, and that's why he killed him. So I'm going to show you that report. I'm also going to show you a report about blacklisting, and then I'm going to show you a video by Dr. Fred Bell talking about some technology in 2010. It's very interesting. But yeah, so I go through these moments where I just don't feel like I go on my protect my energy moments, and I cut off all communication. It may last a day, it may last 2 days. It usually don't last more than 3 days, but it's a kind of introvert. I'm a empath, so sometimes I just don't feel like talking. So if I don't feel like talking or uh, having anybody's company or not having anybody, if I don't feel like talking or answering messages and I don't feel it, then I don't do it because I feel like if I'm trying to help people, when I get in the moods, I just totally disconnect until I start feeling like it again. But I do need to motivate myself more because, you know, uh, these weapons will make you unmotivated. They will make you nauseated, vertigo, and all that. And you got to fight through it. You got to figure out what vitamins you're deficient in caused by the weapons. Then you got V2K chatbot. Multitasking helps with that. For me, V2K in my head, multitasking, listening to music, keeping myself busy. Exercise helps, control breathing. I'm doing the stun gun EMP, uh, although it's about time to buy a new taser. And and money is very tight right now since we've got 8 feral cats outside we're trying to take care of. It started out as 2 or 3 cats, and um, over the years we fed them. Now we got about 8 out there. So, but the colony will weed out. We've had them out there for months now. They've gotten bigger and bigger, and we love our cats. We love the ones inside too. So anyway, that's what's going on with me, and that's why you haven't seen me in a while. Plus, I've spent uh, 2 hours yesterday, about 6 hours, about 8 hours altogether this week, researching for video, trying to find some good information. I went down a rabbit hole, and I'm gonna talk. I'm fixing to finish it up so y'all can watch this video and get to this information. But I went down a rabbit hole yesterday of a video about security and how the Canada Secret Police were hiding. This perp said that he was hired, and he was from Missouri, and he was hired to do so much money, and he was being interviewed, and he showed this video. Anyway, so the weapon he talked about he was using, it was supposed to be connected to a phone app, I think a DEMPG, something like that. Anyway, so I went down this rabbit hole because I was so excited to bring all the information and researched all of it and found out it was all a fraud. It was a fraud all the way from the video to the man who said he was a hired perp. So watch out for that. So all the technology he said was not true, and then he got the video from somewhere else. And anyway, so that's how I go with my investigations and stuff and my research. I don't just bring y'all any old video, and I'm not going to. So, it was a little frustrating yesterday because I thought I had something good, and then I fact checked it, and came up short. But I'm glad I did instead of just posting it, because if I would have posted it and then y'all would have fact checked it, I know y'all would have been like, wow, so along with getting tortured and being disoriented and having vertigo and nausea and shocks and vibration, whole body vibrations and V2K in my head, I try my best to get stuff done and answer y'all in a timely manner and communicate with y'all and help y'all. And Holly does too. She's just busy a lot too. So anyway, let's get into the information I have for y'all today. It's going to be 3 different videos I'm sharing with y'all, but this is the information about the guy in Kentucky who was being tortured with direct energy weapons.
If your roof is damaged, don't wait until the next storm to find out.
Okay, hold on 1 minute. I'm gonna see. Okay, it says Kentucky man accused of murdering neighbor claims tortured by direct energy weapons. Um,
Kentucky man is accused of murdering his neighbor.
The crime happened a week ago in a Somerset neighborhood, and today police testified about the bizarre circumstances surrounding the crime, as we're learning more about the case from the 911 calls made after the shooting.
this was October 15th.
Phil Pendleton has more on what took place in the case today in Pulaski County. Our top story at 5.
After Adam Roark was shot outside his home on Dogwood Lane, there were two 911 calls that were made. One came from Roark's wife, who had witnessed the shooting. The other came from the suspect himself.
911. Yeah, I put the call and say, "Hey, I just shot Adam Roark. I've been tortured for 5 years now."
James Gleason called to say that he had shot his neighbor, and a detective testified that Gleason told him that torture was his neighbors using direct energy weapons on him.
Though asked, he did not give details as far as what a direct energy weapon was.
The shooting happened just after midnight last Wednesday. There was testimony that Adam Roark was shot multiple times, that the gun's magazine was emptied during that gunfire.
The firearm was located with an empty magazine with the slide lock back, indicating either the firearm was fired until.
And I'm gonna pause it right there. Well, I'll let you. I'm gonna finish. Well, I'm gonna pause it right there. Do not ever do that. Don't go murder your neighbor. Don't go do nothing, even if they are torturing you with direct energy weapons. It's not the answer. Now this man's life's been taken from him. They got what they wanted. Him out of the way. They want you in jail. They want you in mental hospital, suicide, any way they can get you. So I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna let y'all finish this report. Hold on.
Empty, locked back manually by the user, or a malfunction had occurred.
The judge did find probable cause to send this case now to the grand jury. There were dozens of people inside the courtroom, many of them Adam Roark's family and friends. I spoke briefly with his family. They said they did not want to talk on camera, but they did want to stress they are so thankful to the community seen during the funeral and afterwards, who have shown them incredible support in this horrible time for them. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Okay, again, a Kentucky man was accused of murdering a neighbor and claims he was tortured by direct energy weapons. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing I got for y'all. Okay, so I was watching this, and I don't know about you, but okay, hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna go on to the next one while I get this other one ready.
Have you ever, on your show, have anybody ever mentioned a general by the name of John P. Jumper?
I have not heard that.
Okay. This is what this book is about. I tried to do things that.
This is interesting. This is about technology and stuff, and this is from 2010, Dr. Fred Bale. Now, unfortunately, in my opinion, I think he was, anyway, just listen. I'll tell you the story about him after we listen to this, and then I'm going to show you the other one that I was watching the other day, and it really hit home. Like, we're already dealing with this. We've been dealing with this for years, and I want to see if y'all think the same way. But he's talking about technology here. It's a 7-minute video. I'll be doing commentary on it.
The internet, okay, in 19.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, before we go any further, once again, don't never go act out in violence. It's not the answer. It cancels you out. It makes their smear campaigns look true. It makes everything they've smeared about you and spread about you look true. If you go act out in violence and hurt somebody, people get hurt, and sometimes innocent people get hurt. So if you're feeling like that, you know, call another target individual. Try to keep busy, keep your mind off something, multitask, get multiple things. Just don't go out and commit an act of violence due to this program because that's what they want. I'm an advocate against violence in this program because you cannot win as a target individual, just rising up and doing that to your neighbor because now, even if the neighbor was doing it to him, now he's going to jail for the rest of his life. And everything they've ever said about him, if he is a real target, to smear his name looks true. So you don't want to give them what they want, and then you don't want innocent people getting hurt either. So that's all I want to say. Please do not act out in violence at all. It's not the answer in this case. There's ways to fight back by learning how to shield yourself, learning how to deal with this, learning how to make the best out of each day without, you know, uh, giving in to their shenanigans or reacting or committing suicide or doing anything like that. You want to avoid that stuff at all cost.
A news item stated that General John, pardon me for quoting out of my book, but I just had to do this to keep it right. In 1998, a news item stated that General John P. Jumper predicts that the military will have the tools to make potential enemies see, hear, and believe things that do not exist. It's the same idea was contained.
And so in 2010, the enemy will have Fred Bell. Let me see. I'm gonna tell you more about Fred Bell at the end of this, okay? But I'm gonna read something about him, um, because he worked with the Air Force. Let me see what I see. And he was, I'm sorry, it's been a hell of a week just to bounce back to be up here talking to y'all right now. Like I've been out of it all week, by busy by attacks and all kinds of stuff going on. Hold on. So if your apps are not working properly on your phone, uh, you want to keep the. It takes a while, but if you go to settings and you go to apps, I'm gonna tell you this because it's what I'm doing right now, so I can get what I'm trying to pull up because it won't come up. You want to clear the cache on all your apps every day. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but it's worth it because you're clearing the cookies out, and the cookies are, they embed viruses in the cookies and it makes your stuff go slow. Okay, now it's coming. He joined the Air Force. He was trained to work on radar and stationed at a facility where numerous unidentified flying object contacts were tracked. Following his time in the Air Force, he worked with Rockwell International and then as a consultant to various companies in the aerospace industry. So that's what he's got. Listen to what he's saying. I'm gonna rewind this.
1998, a news item stated that General John P. Jumper predicts that the military will have the tools to make potential enemies see, hear, and believe things that do not exist. It's the same idea was contained.
See, hear, and believe things that do not exist. Okay, a memory came back from Springfield, Missouri, from me when I was attacked in Jade Helm, and they made me walk a line, believing I was going to blow up. And there was a gold line and a blue line spray painted off the side of the road, and I just started walking this line, and all I knew is I was following this script. And you know, and then they told me I was done. Um, when I walked the blue line, and all I knew is if I stepped off for some reason, I knew for a fact it was gonna blow up. So I'm walking this line, and then they said, okay, you're done. You're not going to blow up no more. You're safe. And then they called me behind the bushes and then they said, haha, we're not there. They were doing all kinds of stuff. So they can make you see, hear, and believe stuff. And they can run different scripts to put you in different world. Like, they put me in this world the same day, a different script. They run a different script where I believe the world was going to end. And I walked out of Walmart and this woman said, "Ha ha ha." It's kind of like uh the Stasi all over again, ain't it? That's what she said to me when I walked out. And for some reason in my mind, they ran the script on me where all of a sudden I thought everybody was getting their partners together. And I know this sounds crazy, but I was not on nothing. This is a real script being run on me that came to me when I was talking and trying to remember about this happening to me. So I run to the Greyhound bus and tell everybody, "Don't get on the bus. It's the end of the world. You better get your." So I really thought that. And they were hitting me with direct energy weapons and all that. Anyway, it's a long story, and a lot of people have heard it, some of it, but they haven't heard this. So they can make you see, hear, and believe things. That's very true. I've experienced it myself. And they can put you in a script, and you'll start believing the script's going on, and it's really happening. You know. Anyway, so let's keep going.
In a 15-volume study at the United States Air Force Scientific Advisory Board in 1996 on how to maintain U.S. air and space superiority on the battlefields of the 21st century. Born in Paris, Texas, he originally joined the Air Force in June of '66 after graduating from the Virginia Military Institute with a degree in electrical engineering in Lexington, Virginia. While in the employ of the United States Air Force, he spent time at Royal Air Force in Bentwaters, hello, UFO thing there, a site of many UFO incidents, Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, and he also worked at Area 51 in control of reverse engineering. This guy was trying to tell us something, and he's the real deal, and you can Google him or whatever. And then from that, there's different companies that I came in contact with in my research for the last 4 years on actually, because you asked me before the break, what is going on, where are we at today, okay? And I will continue with that. First of all,
Now he's going to tell you one reason that you can be targeted, and he's going to tell you the technology they have to lock onto you and track you and all that. This is real technology. The EEG thing. William Reich is the one who came up with the patent. There's a patent about it. Sure, sure with all the stuff they're spraying, and stuff that gets in your body, it makes the stuff more accurate. But technically, it's not as strong as if you had stuff everybody's got it now because of chemtrails, but back in the day before they started doing all that stuff, um, uh, and technology was not as good, that they could actually lock on to you without anything using your DNA or brain print. It's just the attacks were not as strong as if they had stuff in your body like they do in everybody's right now.
through the wall surveillance methods. And these are there's a thing called the cops are going to be having it soon. It's called the radar flashlight. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Okay, the radar flashlight checks electromagnetic activity of speech controls in the vocal cords. In other words, when we read or think about something, we subconsciously move our vocal muscles.
Or is it like a truth detector, Fred?
Well, it's not a truth detector. It's part of the mining process that they're doing on certain individuals to get into the big echelon computers. Because remember that the human brain works at about 500 kilobytes a second. I'm sorry, 5,000 bits per second.
I should have caught that.
Yeah, right. Sorry, and this is one thing, and then they have other things that they do. There's a company called Silent Sounds. They received a patent number 5,159,703 for using superconductors to analyze human emotional EEG patterns. That's electroencephalograph patterns, replicate, store these emotions. They call them emotion signature clusters on another computer, and at will, slightly inducing change to the emotional state of the human being.
Amazing.
Yeah. Now this is done through satellite, through what's called the keyhole satellites. The first one went up in 1979, 89, on the STS-38 when they started putting this stuff up in space. And then there's another one. You know what Tetra is? You've heard of that one?
Sure.
You know what Tetra is?
Yeah.
Okay. Just so the people that don't know, That's something that there's 30,000 transmitters, and they put them in subways in London and New York. And guess what? When they first put those in, remember all the subway incidents that were there, all the negative things that happened. So that's another one. And there's several different. There's another thing called millimeter wave scanning, where a microwave signal just pull the infrared frequency of the region is used. And this is where they do the thought reading, what you're talking about.
How many people would believe this, Fred?
Well,
I mean, you know, you do, I do, because we know what's going on the inside. But how many people on the outside are listening to you going, "Come on, Fred"?
You know, they've been doing that for 30 of my life. You know, but eventually, you know, I'm not locked up. I'm not in a straitjacket yet, and people still read my books. This is my first mainstream book. And there's not a whole lot of them out there, but they're starting to come out. You know how much controversy this book has stirred up
Already, huh?
Oh my God! Yeah, it's really stirred the.
By the way, did you only publish 1,000, or is that just the special
I
edition?
published 1,000 of them for people maybe at Coast and just my own readers. There's 2 or 3 major publishers that'll pick. They're looking at this book right
okay.
now.
All right.
Yeah, I just put this out there. I didn't realize I'd created a cauldron from hell.
Okay, now he's fixing to get into the meat of the video right here. Very important to listen. If you're wondering how some of this technology works, and you got to think this was in 2010, so it's way more advanced now. But this dude used to work in helping all this stuff and intelligence stuff and all that. So, well, he worked in the Air Force wow, they took it out of my mind. But anyway, y'all know what I'm trying to say. This is the meat.
You do?
Yeah, I didn't know that. My other books, like when I wrote The Rays of Truth and Death of Ignorance, those were about things that I learned and, you know, basic physics and science and stuff like that. This is not about that. This is about what's going on. And in this book, I've got websites to everything that I've mentioned tonight. There's a website to go to, Tavistock, all these things. There's plenty. I want somebody to tell me, "Hey, Dr. Bell, on page 322, you're full of crap," because they won't. It's not going to happen. You know, this book is really. This is a real deal. And for example, in the way this stuff works now with these new satellites, and you can be sitting there meditating, and if they have their signature, now what they do with the process of this, it starts with a person of interest, a POI. You know, it's
Give me an example.
okay, a person is on the internet, and I've seen one guy get executed behind this, a young guy, who goes into the internet, starts researching information, maybe on terrorism or something. They then become, and then they do their emails, and of course Echelon, which everybody knows about, I'm sure by now,
Sure.
tweaks on them. Okay, then what happens is the local guys come out. I've seen this happen. The local guys come out with their little radar flashlights and their little devices on their little cars and trucks, and they get a reading on that person. Then what happens is that's downloaded into another computer, and then they go up to the satellite. When it gets up to the satellite, they start watching and monitoring that person. Obviously, they're already doing their internet and their telephone, but now they want to see what they do. And that satellite stuff is so cool. And I could go into the technology of that, but I don't know if we have time for that. But basically, let's say that person is in downtown New York City at Macy's, all right? And there are a lot of people in there, okay? From a satellite, they could get that person's emotional blueprint. It's like a fingerprint. They know that person's in Macy's. They don't see him in Macy's, but when they come out of Macy's and start walking down Fifth Avenue or something, they can see him. They found that person. They found him in 10,000. They've sorted that one person out, and now they can follow him down the street.
Amazing.
Yeah. Then they put the cameras on. You know, the cameras on every corner. That's how accurate it is right now. So you can't be afraid of it. You know, you just got to live in whatever you're going to do, you got to do it in wide open, in front of everybody. That's just how.
Now, I thought that was interesting too. Like I said, I'm just sharing stuff I think's interesting. You heard what he said. They lock on to you, they get your signature, lock on to you, and this was a long time ago, in 2010. So imagine what they can do now. And I know, I was in 12 states in 6 months in 2018, bouncing around, phone off, no phone, you name it, and was tracked everywhere. So tracking is no problem, and especially with this facial recognition stuff, it's very, very accurate. Once they get the grid set with that facial recognition, you got to think, all this technology, you never expose your hand. And what I was researching last night, and the main people in this, the reason they're not whistleblowing is because they sign non-disclosure agreements to where if they blow the whistle on this, they go to jail for treason, betraying our country. So this technology that they're using and stuff, these people have signed non-disclosure agreements, and that's why you never hear people in these projects talking about it much. I'm gonna see if I can find. Well, never mind. That was let me see. I think it's this guy right here. Well, I gotta wait on this ad. Then I'm gonna show you something that in a way. Hold on.
I don't have a reporting on one test. You read the popular Bill Moore. He jumped across, in fact, and the technologies that they're talking about are strikingly similar to the one that Al Bielek told us about. Again, the testing here, what happens when you pulse a magnetic field to extremely strong.
Anyway, this guy right here I was listening to. He said that he can talk about the Montauk project, but he can't talk about the Phoenix project that he was working on because he signed a non-disclosure, and that if he talked about the technology and what went on in the Phoenix project which he was a part of that project, and everybody that works on that project signs non-disclosure agreements where if they reveal any secrets or anything going on like that, they get treason. I wish I could find it. Come on. I can read the transcript. He says, okay, let's see. He said, it now joined what was known as the Phoenix Project, which was a very large, all-encompassing research project involving research into the human mind, the mind of man. I cannot go into what that's all about because I did sign a security on that. And he said, they made you sign a paper. And he said, well, when you get employment, anything that they have you sign, there would be illegal and jail time to talk about it. You'd be convicted of espionage, not treason, espionage. That's right. See, on the MTO project, they use different methods of security, which we can go into later, where I never signed for. So there will be some of that you can talk about. Yeah, the MTO project I can talk of because I never signed for that. In fact, I officially never existed on that project. So he's saying he existed on the Phoenix Project, and they get espionage if they talk about anything they worked on during the Phoenix Project, and you heard what the Phoenix Project, which was a large, all-encompassing research project involving research into the human mind, the mind of man. Okay, now I'm gonna play one more video. If everything goes good, I should have an interview tomorrow. And it's a follow-up interview, but the guy's got some stuff that he says he thinks will help us. Okay, so all right, let me try to see if I can pull this out of my drive. And there's a bit of lag. Yeah, I've had to fight to get through this week. So I apologize about being late with messages and stuff, but sometimes, and I hope y'all can relate with me. I'm not the only person that gets introvert and just wants to be left alone and try to protect my energy. And sometimes I just don't feel like talking or reaching out. I self-isolate, and I try to meditate and all that, and pray and stay praised up.
Did he go broke?
But I have hard times too. I struggle too. I just don't, I personally don't like putting my struggles out there. And maybe I should more, but yeah, I struggle too, and I have to fight too to get through days a lot. And so does Holly. I mean, this is not no easy road for us either. And it seems like, I've been doing my exercise and um, multitasking, stun gunning. I've been doing all that stuff, and lately I guess they must have enhanced what they're doing to me because it's been overpowering it, and I've just felt like crap. But I'm bouncing back slowly but surely. You got to remember these weapons will cause vitamin deficiencies. So even if they stop hitting you, and you get lucky and they give you a break, you're going to feel bad during the break too because the weapons have done drained you and caused vitamin deficiencies, and now your body. If you read just if you don't know anything about vitamin deficiencies, go look up a vitamin D deficiency. See what that consists of. See what the vitamin D can fit. It can make you feel like you got the flu. It can make your bones ache. You name it. It can make you feel like crap. So, it's not just the weapons doing it. So they may stop hitting you for a period, and you still think you're getting hit, but you're not. You're just deficient because it's done drained your vitamins. It's very important to keep vitamins and minerals in your body. And also, American food is not was not good for vitamins. So a lot of American food. It's good to try your best to find a good multivitamin you can trust. And we even have bottles. We call it's called it's vitamin D3 extract. Well, not extract, but it's like a liquid sublingual and B12 sublingual. We keep that around. Um, because a lot of targets who don't go out much or indoors, well, it makes sense. Not only is the weapons draining you, but being out of the sun's going to drain you of your vitamin D too. So just look up some vitamin deficiencies, and also protect your thyroid at all costs. My thyroid is burnout, and I found out it's from being in fight or flight so long. I spent a year straight almost in fight or flight constantly. So the cortisol levels. The vagus nerve is something to look into too. And I'm researching that right now. So let me get to this last video and then I'm done for the day. But this has kind of been me for a long time now. Sure, it may not be out in the open, but listen to this. And I'll stop and do commentary if I have to. But listen to this video.
They got deleted. In China, tens of thousands of young people are suddenly homeless, not because of money, but because the system erased them.
Imagine a society where everything you do, everything you say, and everything you buy is controlled and evaluated by the authorities. This is what the Chinese Communist Party calls social credit.
By using the mechanism of social credit,
And a lot of targets who are blacklisted and smeared are, this video applies to them. They've been like that for years. I know I have. Sometimes I can't use my food stamp card at stores when when I was homeless and trying to use food stamps. They wouldn't let me buy nothing. I was totally blacklisted everywhere I go. An outcast. Homeless shelters would turn me down. Not all the time, but most of the time. Churches would turn me down and say they wouldn't feed, and I'd go hide in the bushes and record. I'd go hide in the bushes and wait about 20 minutes in the bushes, and the whole line of people would be feeding. And I had that all on recording back in 2018. But of course, a lot of stuff's happened since then. It's become lost. But I had them on recording, telling me that they didn't hand out food and that church didn't feed. So I went and acted like I left, hid in the bushes for 20 minutes, and boom, recorded the whole line of them. And I even walked up there with my friend Lynette Castle on the phone and said, "Well, I thought y'all wasn't feeding." "Oh, it's something new that just came in right after you left. But we're out of food now." I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. These stories cannot be made up. These are real life stories. All right, let me stop rambling and get to this.
will be able to establish a blacklist of people and create a system of punishment that will be based on a scientific theory. These punishments will serve as a whip to rebuild moral values. Our society needs it.
The country's social credit system decides who's trustworthy. But if you're blacklisted, it's game over. Your WeChat Pay stops working. You can't receive your salary, can't buy food, can't even book a train ticket. It's like being alive, but digitally. Many are now sleeping in the streets, cut off from everything. Jobs, housing, even communication. All because one app, one algorithm decided they don't belong.
It's not science fiction. In China, it's a reality.
Then there's the public shaming. Photo galleries of blacklisted citizens. There's even an app that shows who around you is in debt.
They're not criminals. They didn't steal, cheat, or harm anyone. They just fell too low on a score and vanished from the digital world. Critics say it's a glimpse into the future, where technology doesn't just track your life, it controls it. So ask yourself, if your entire life depended on your digital reputation, how long before you get deleted? They didn't go broke. They got
See, target individuals, heavily target individuals, heavily blacklisted, heavily smeared. And you know, some people, some targets are not as blacklisted as others. Some targets are blacklisted. You know, you can't even, you know, they try to mess with your everything you do, every form of, every time you try to do anything or buy anything, or you know, I got turned down. You know, I asked this homeless dude standing from the store in Nashville. It was a 7-Eleven. I said, "Do they use food stamps?" He's like, "Yeah. Will you buy me some ice cream?" I'm like, "Yeah." Just come on. And I bought him some, I got him, told him to get what he wanted, and I got what I wanted. I went to the counter. Oh, we don't take food stamps. But the food stamp reader's right there. And he even said, "Look, your food stamp reader's right there." He said, "I used mine early in here. Don't lie to him." And she's like, "I'm sorry, we don't do it." So I started to play the game. I went out and I called, I looked it up online and it said every 7-Eleven takes food stamps in America. And so I started to argue with them and fall into that and play the game. And all that data would have been, they're trying to create a cognitive model of your brain. So all that data of me reacting and getting upset would have been recorded. So, you know, instead of going in there and arguing my case and getting corporate on the phone and wasting all that time, like, you know, then getting nowhere. Um, I didn't do it. I just walked off. I was so disgusted. But so you know, I've seen them close stores and say they're closed when you come around. So we're kind of living like that today. It's just not on digital. I mean, we're kind of blacklisted and socially credit score. We're already living like that. That's just my opinion, my experience. I don't know if y'all can relate with that or not. Anyway, somebody's gonna, well, I'm gonna talk about something in the coming days, and I'm not gonna reveal it right now, but something uh somebody asked me to do a subject somebody wanted me to cover, and I'm sorry, like I've been battling really hard with these weapons and this V2K. So sorry if my thoughts are scattered and stuff, but I'm pushing through and making it. Thank you all for your support. The people who actually really do support us, we really appreciate it. None of this would be possible without y'all. And you know, I've had countless people tell me, you know, email us and say that, you know, we helped them through hard times, and none of that's possible except by the Most High allowing us to fight through on day by day basis, research videos, and let y'all know what's going on. Because if I would have found this video, because you got to remember, I was targeted in 2012, didn't find out what TIs was till 2018. That's why it's important that every targeted individual starts speaking out, because you know, it was 6 years. Just imagine the hell I went through, having this technology and stuff ran on me and not even knowing nothing about it. So anyway, I thank you for your support. Each and every person who's done a testimony adds to helping others. You know, it could be something you say in your testimony that you've done. And you know what I found is, if you're targeted, what works for me might not work for you. So having all these different interviews of different people saying what works for them, what they try, is trial and error with everybody. So some things might work for you that works for me, some things might not. So I think that's really good. And then plus seeing all the people, I've got 800 videos. So what I'm going to do is, oh yeah, I'm going to go through my videos this week and start categorizing them in playlists. That way they're easier to find, because I got some good informational videos out there that people need to know. Remote neural monitoring, how to beat it, stuff like that. And I'm going to put them all in categories and playlists, and that way they're easier to find and locate than having to go through the whole list. So God bless all TIs, all SRA survivors, MK Ultra survivors, any non-consensual subject of any experiment. God bless y'all all. And I hope y'all have the best weekend y'all can.